to mean living without joy or optimism. At the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place. By bringing together teams of leading specialists who are pioneering ways to treat every type of cancer, and by unleashing promising new clinical trials. Let's push ahead until every cancer diagnosis is a story of survivorship. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit freighter.com/cancer.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Now that the game is done, it's our time to check in.
Giannis feeds it to Lopez, now to Dame. Dame squeezes off a three, and he has given Milwaukee their first lead of the night.
Bucks Talk starts now.
Golden State is going to pull out the win tonight, 104-93. It was a tough night at the office for the Bucks.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios, here's Justin Garcia.
Tough night indeed for the Bucks. A disappointing loss for a bevy of reasons. This was there for the taking. This wasn't a game, and I was talking about this during the game with somebody else, that you look at some of the really, really rough performances the Bucks have had this season, in certainly the final three quarters against the Oklahoma City Thunder, where I think you saw, if that's the level you have to be at, that's not where the Bucks currently are. Both of those Knicks games earlier this season were tough. That first one especially, it kind of similar to that Thunder game, and for where the Bucks were at that point in the season, just felt like, all right, the Knicks are clearly a level above where the Bucks currently are at, and they thoroughly outplayed them. The Memphis Grizzlies loss that I think ended up being 23, 25, somewhere around there. That was the Halloween game that was certainly terrifying. That was a rough one. This one was not that. You played a Warriors team without Steph Curry, and I suppose there's two things I do want to kind of clear up. Like, I think a lot of times we're inclined to look at back-to-backs and say, well, you got the rest advantage, and this is a big advantage for that team, whether it's the Bucks, any other team. I just don't think that's a thing. It is in fourth quarters, certainly, but I think what we've seen across the league is the reality is back-to-backs, they only really matter for older teams. And the Bucks are an older team. I mean, they made some moves to get younger and more athletic at the deadline, but they're still an older team. You know, Giannis is now 30 years old. Damian Lillard is in his mid-30s. Brook Lopez is less than 2 weeks away from turning 37 years old. So I just don't think back-to-backs mean what we think they do anymore. And the other thing is, this is not just the Bucks that this has been an issue with. It's tough, and we talked about this earlier this season. It is tough to get up for games. To be clear, I'm not saying the Bucks weren't up for this one, but it's tough to get up for games when you look across the floor and you see this player's out or that player's out. Look at the Golden State Warriors in the result of last night's game when they, night 2 of a back-to-back tonight, but night 1 was against the Denver Nuggets, and Denver won that game without Jamal Murray and without Nikola Jokic. It is very common to see this. We see more and more of it across the league. Now, all of that being said, this was a pretty disheartening loss because what we just laid out there, this wasn't a case of the Golden State Warriors for 48 minutes thoroughly outplaying you. This was there for the taking when you look at the efficiencies of both teams. Going back to that Knicks game, Knicks really outplayed you, and you felt like they're just a better team than we are right now. Thunder, same thing in those final 3 quarters. They're just a much better team than we currently have right now. I didn't get that impression from this Warriors team, especially without Steph Curry. They shot 42%, just under 42% for the game. The problem was your offense, once again. You forced 19 turnovers and scored 22 points off of those. The problem was your offense and rebounding issues. It's a challenge against the Warriors team that is one of the best. They may be number one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. And the Bucks early on in this game were forced to play small. And we're going to see a lot of that go forward, at least for the next 10 or so games until Bobby Portis completes his 25-game suspension. But when you do that and when you play small, it is imperative to find your guy, to find a body and box out in the lane. And we did not see that. The Warriors capitalizing on that 11-0. They outscored the Bucks on second chance points via the offensive rebound in this one tonight. Jimmy Butler continues to haunt the Bucks, but the fourth quarter offense is really the big one here. And there are 2 things that are going to determine how far this Bucks team goes. And so far, what we've seen has not been encouraging in the regular season. Your fourth quarter offense. And the more and more we get a sample size of this offense is just, and look, you can get why with the 2 players I'm about to name. It is heavily reliant on Giannis and Damian Lillard playing like all NBA players. And tonight they shot a combined 32%. You're not going to win a game when that happens. You need those 2 guys. I said from the top with the playoffs, you feel pretty strongly that any series you're in the Eastern Conference, Giannis is going to be the best player on the floor. You need Damian Lillard to be the second best player in some of those, at least the third best player. You need to consistently get that in a playoff series. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. Frustrating loss for a number of reasons. Number one, you didn't face Steph Curry. The Warriors, this wasn't a hot shooting night. This wasn't the Warriors played excellent tonight. There was a 4-minute stretch that determined this game, but this was there. If you put together a better fourth quarter, you start this road trip with a win. You go into a game Thursday night against the Lakers where you're not going to face LeBron James. You might not see Luka Doncic. We'll see how the Lakers decide to handle that game tomorrow against the Nuggets. It is a back-to-back. Lakers also played Luka Doncic in the game against the Bucks last week and sat him against the Denver Nuggets. So we'll see what that means tomorrow. It was a chance to really start this road trip on a strong note, and instead it starts with a loss. The road record is what it is. It is frankly not good enough, and it's hard to not see these results and look back at all the previous 5-game road trips, and especially last year when Doc Rivers took over to start a 5-game road trip. Different teams, some overlap, but you went 1-4 there. You absolutely cannot go 1-4 on this road trip. If you go 1-4, I think you're the 6th seed, and then you're drawing the New York Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. 855-616-1620. Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. We'll see some calls coming in. We'll get to your thoughts coming up after this on Bucks Talk.
This is Bucks Talk.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
The deeper the hole, the more damage you're going to cause, especially if you're driving around with low tire pressure.
We're talking about potholes, and if you're not careful, they'll spring up out of nowhere and bite you right in the keister.
We've fixed broken ball joints, broken control arms, blown struts, damaged wheel alignments.
You name it, we've fixed it. That wheel alignment is an adjustment of your suspension, which is a system that connects your car to its wheels.
And when your alignment's off, you get uneven, premature tire wear, and we have a fix for that too.
If a pothole is bitten you where it hurts, come to Richlands for a professional evaluation by one of our ASE certified technicians.
And at the very least, we'll make sure you have the right amount of air pressure in your tires.
And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
Due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee. Did you know that Adam members employ more than 7,500 people? Plus, Adam recently completed their 14th annual Feeding America Change Your Oil promotion. To date, Adam has donated over $875,000, which provided over 2.6 million meals. Start your next car search by finding an Adam member dealer at adam.com. That's ADAMM.com.
Welcome back to Bucks Talk.
Bucks come the other way with it. Another chance to tie or get the lead. Giannis feeds it to Lopez, now to Dame. Dame squeezes off a three, and he has given Milwaukee their first lead of the night. 65-64.
Just 2 threes tonight for Damian Lillard. A tough shooting night for Dame, but we've really started to see more and more of this the last couple of weeks, in that more and more teams are just saying, hey, it's got to be somebody other than Giannis or Dame. We're going to really put a lot of ball pressure on Damian Lillard and start to trap him at midcourt when we get the opportunity. We're going to sag into the paint and take that away from Giannis. We want Kyle Kuzma and Taurean Prince to shoot. Make these guys beat us. Doc said after the game, we're just in an offensive funk and we got to get out of it. That is very evident. Again, 17 points in the fourth quarter tonight for a team, and you shot 25% for a team that came into the game tonight with the 30th ranked fourth quarter offense. Almost unbelievable to say for a team with Giannis and Damian Lillard. 30th. 29th. In clutch games, offense. You're not going to go far with those numbers being what they are. And we said 30th is what it is for now 68 games through the season. In 14 games, you're not going to go from 30th to 10th. So we got to look at, okay, how is it doing post All-Star break? It's been okay, but still, fourth quarter has to be your time to shine. And especially with Dame on this roster, the Bucks have to be in the top 10. I mean, they should really be a top 7 fourth quarter offense with those two guys. They've been nowhere near that. You got guys that have been in a shooting funk. The numbers don't necessarily back it up. It's hard not to move past that, though, when you see some of the open looks that aren't falling. But you look at the stat sheet, too, and 2 3-point attempts in this game from A.J. Green. Kevin Porter Jr. took 4 shots, scored 2 points off the bench. Taurean Prince has a quick trigger, took 3 threes, but Kyle Kuzma matched a season high with 13 3-point attempts. The Warriors and a handful of other teams are saying, let Kyle Kuzma shoot. Guy that shot 28% with the Wizards, I think it was 31% in the 19 now games he's played with the Bucks. We'll let him shoot. And you saw that with the 13 3-point attempts tonight. But you have to get more looks. For a guy like Gary Trent Jr., who had 4, A.J. Green especially, you have to get more than 2 threes from A.J. Green. 855-616-1620. Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. Let's head to the phone lines and talk with Bob in Menasha. You're up first.
Yeah, it's getting late. Thanks for taking my call, Justin. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with things you say because I do agree with all of them. But they've imploded many times in the second half. But I think the problem started even in the first half. I mean, 44 points. Am I right on that? 44 points first half.
Yep.
So the Warriors defended our strength pretty well. Stopped this stuff in the paint, and we couldn't handle Jimmy Butler at all. Dishes it off to guys on the wing, and they're just able to score. Doc keeps saying that he can fix all those things. I don't think they're fixable, Justin. Do you? I really don't think they're fixable. I really don't. I think they're going to wind up in 6th spot. I hate to say it, but I can't see him fixing it. I just don't think they have the firepower. And if the 2 big guys don't have the firepower some nights, it's over. It's just over. Any comments on that? Thank you.
I don't. Thanks for the call, Bob. I don't disagree with the last part. If Giannis and Damian Lillard don't play like all-stars, and tonight was a rough game for Giannis, that has been a rarity. The Bucks are 5-14 in games this season where Dame has shot 40% or lower. That number's not good enough either. But it just shows you're built around these 2 guys being the guys that are carrying your offense and creating open looks for other guys. I think Damian Lillard did a lot of good things in this one tonight. Paint touches, just collapse the defense and be a decoy to open up looks for your shooters. They just didn't hit shots, but you got to work for more of those looks. And, I know it's been a talking point of how many threes is too many threes. Do the Bucks take too many threes? I don't think there's a magic number. I mean, you look at the volume of threes that the Cavs and Celtics take on a nightly basis. The Cavs are the best offense in the league. Celtics were the best offense of all time a season ago. It's what the league is. You need threes to win games. But you need your shooters to hit shots, and you need to work for open looks. By the numbers, I think we would all say, hey, man, it feels like A.J. Green has been in a big slump coming out of the All-Star break. It feels like the Bucks are just missing open shots. And what I can tell you is their percentages are lower pre-All-Star break versus post-All-Star break, but not to the level where you would say, man, this is noticeable. It's just big ones, right? It's what sticks with you the most is the ones that feel like this is what can get a run going, or this is what can halt a run for the opposing team and build some momentum here. The big moments in the game is where those threes have just not fallen. And what we're seeing now, I think the good to come from this, well, it can be a good, I should say, is this is exactly what you're going to see in the playoffs. So when you get to the postseason, none of this should surprise you. But it's imperative you figure out, how do we get out of this offensive funk? Because as good as the defense has been, and as much as we praise them, and the defense wasn't great tonight. There were breakdowns, especially in that second quarter, especially in the fourth quarter. But overall, your defense has been good enough. Your defense has kept you in games. It's a far cry from where it was last year. It's the offense that is nowhere near where it needs to be, and we saw that once again tonight, especially in the fourth quarter. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. Couple other things that have started to take place here. The Indiana Pacers with that big win last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves on a heavily contested Obi Toppin three-point shot from the corner. They have now moved in front of the Bucks. They're 38-29. The Bucks are 38-30. So we'll dig into what the numbers suggest in where the Bucks are going to finish this season and what we've seen since Saturday. What has potentially changed, plus who has the most difficult road ahead. We'll take a look at all that coming up after this on Bucks Talk.
You're listening to Bucks Talk.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality. No gimmick. You'll get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky. All you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you 2 sources of heat and a backup, but also the heat pump will act as an AC system to cool your home as well. It's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and this I know. Your heat pump will cut your energy bills substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line heat pump system and a free furnace. And you'll save thousands plus qualifying government incentives. So now, through March 31st, you'll get a heck of a deal from Quality. This is the only time of the year we can do this. So call Quality, and let's get you taken care of. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. Buy a heat pump from Quality, and you'll get a free furnace through March 31st.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
It's time for you and that diamond to come alive again.
At the 4th Annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Even if you have a good ultrasonic jewelry cleaner,
it can't match the pressurized steam cleaning we do at Kessler's.
Let us steam clean and polish your engagement ring.
For free.
I'm Joe Gerke, president of Kessler's, and we want to strip away all the soap scum that is making your diamond look dull.
For free. And while we're doing it, we'll inspect the prongs on your ring to make sure your diamond isn't about to fall out.
It's the 4th Annual Spring Ring Cleaning at Kessler's.
Here's another idea. Bring us anything you own that needs to be repaired.
And we'll give you a price to make it like new again.
And if you have some old jewelry you don't wear anymore,
we can make something unique and wonderful out of it.
Unique in all the world.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
The Round Ball Repartee returns. This is Bucks Talk.
We don't have the right space and the ball's not moving. We're not attacking. We're not getting to the paint. I got a whole list, but we got to do it, and I got to get them to do it. That's my job.
17-point fourth quarter tonight for the Bucks. Fourth quarter offense continues to be a big issue for this team. They now drop down to 38-30 on the season into 5th place. The Indiana Pacers, who were idle, are 38-29. They have now moved into 4th. There are, I think, 4 things that are certain in the Eastern Conference. 5, really. Number 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the 1 seed. The second certainty is the Boston Celtics are the 2 seed. The third is the New York Knicks are the 3 seed. Any hope, the pipe dream that it was, of catching the New York Knicks. And I remember when Jalen Brunson went down with that injury to the Lakers, 2 weeks ago now on Thursday, saying, not to be the wet blanket here, but it's still pretty significant. It's a tall ask for the Bucks to move past the Knicks with how many games you'd have to outplay them by because of not having the tiebreaker with so few games remaining. Even with Jalen Brunson going down, I don't think that makes the Knicks a team that wins 33% of their games. And that's basically what you would need while winning 2/3 of your games the rest of the way. Well, it doesn't matter because the latter has not happened so far. Knicks are going to be the 3 seed. The other certainty is we know who the 10 teams are. I think we can confidently say that in the postseason. And the fifth part is we know who 7 through 10 is going to be. The order is still to be determined. That's what's up in the air right now. Who finishes 4th, who finishes 5th, who finishes 6th. And then what's the order for the play-in teams? It's pretty much likely Hawks and Magic are going to be 7 and 8 seeds. Miami Heat have dropped all the way down to 10th in the play-in tournament. So as of right now, the Hawks and Magic would play each other in that first 7-8 game. The winner gets the 7th seed and plays the Boston Celtics. The loser is still alive for the 8th seed. You got the Bulls and the Heat playing each other. Loser's eliminated. The winner plays whoever loses 7-8, and the winner of that gets to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's 4, 5, and 6. That's the most interesting part go forward because I don't think anybody thinks any of those 4 teams have a chance at beating the Cavs or the Celtics in the first round. In terms of how many games would the 7 and 8 seeds win combined in their first round series, I think you could probably set the over-under at half, and I'd still probably take the under. But 4, 5, and 6 is the intrigue. So, as mentioned, the Indiana Pacers are now in front of you at 38 and 29 on the season. Now, all you have to do is tie the Indiana Pacers, and you will finish in front of them because of getting that tiebreaker. And that's the importance of that win on Saturday night. Your strength of schedule has significantly fallen off. And again, as frustrating as this one was tonight, you have to put it behind you. You have to fix the offense. And you got games that are not quite as daunting as they were when we initially looked at this schedule in August and even leading into the All-Star break or weeks ago. Not quite as challenging, right? The Sacramento Kings are not the red-hot team they were after making that coaching change. The Phoenix Suns have been an outright disaster so far this season. The Lakers, there's a decent chance you're going to be playing them without both LeBron and Luka Doncic. I said coming into this road trip, you got to shoot for 3-2. And if you can finish better than 3-2, great. For a while, the first 11 minutes through 11 minutes in the third quarter, you felt pretty good of, hey, you're at least going to start this road trip with a win. Can you potentially make this 2 in a row or 3 in a row with the Lakers and a Kings team on Saturday? And then you're going into that Monday-Wednesday game of, hey, if you split these, you're 4-1 on this road trip. Well, that all changed with those 4-minute stretch. Final minute of the third quarter, first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, you're outscored 16-0, and it was really over after that. But after the Bucks beat the Pacers on Saturday night, they had a 52% chance of getting the 4 seed. They went from a 37% chance before the game to 52%. Everything that has unfolded since, the Bucks losing 2 games, the Pacers winning last night the way that they won, the Bucks have now dropped down to a 31% chance at the 4 seed. The Pacers have a 60% chance. They do have an easier remaining schedule than the Bucks. Bucks are still the 10th easiest, 11th easiest remaining schedule in the league, however. It's where 6 becomes interesting, or it's where it becomes interesting for the Bucks when 6 isn't taken off the table. And we said before Saturday night, this is your most important game remaining this season. Felt pretty crummy about the way that game ended in Indiana. All right, just as we're saying tonight, put it behind you, win this game, and you feel good. The hope was this is your most important game, and we don't have to put importance on those 2 Pistons games. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. A Pistons team that just refuses to go away, and that first one especially in Detroit, it's a team that knows they're going to be in the top 6 spots in the postseason. They would much rather play the Indiana Pacers than the New York Knicks and open up that path for them. So it is going to be a challenge for the Bucks. We'll take a look at the rest of the updated odds That strength schedule that I mentioned as well, what are the crucial challenges remaining for the Bucks? We'll take a look at that coming up after this on Bucks Talk.
The Hardwood Homilies continue after this. This is Bucks Talk.
If you're concerned about heart health, remember that you are not powerless. At the Fredert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by helping to assess your risks and guide you to heart strength, by providing breakthrough research and renowned expertise for treating common conditions and the most serious. Let's stay out in front of heart and vascular disease and embrace every day life has to offer. Learn more at fredert.com/heart.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
You know, most mulch is reclaimed from landfills, but Erickson's mulch is ground from whole trees. Yep, we process the mulch ourselves to keep the prices nice and low, and use only premium colorant so the beautiful look of new mulch lasts. At Erickson's, we never skimp. And that's why first-time shoppers become repeat customers. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. How do we keep our prices so low? That's easy. We've removed the middlemen. Yep, most landscape suppliers have a couple of them in there, and that's okay. But each one of those men in the middle means a higher cost for your mulch, decorative stone, flagstone, and boulders. Feel free to check around. For the quality of our products, you won't find better prices. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
This is Bucks Talk.
We're in an offensive funk right now, and we have to get out of it. We'll work our way out of it.
Those are the words from Doc Rivers after he sees his Bucks score 17 points in 2 quarters tonight. Had 44 points at the half. Scored 17 in the second, 17 in the fourth. And again, you came into this game with the 30th rated fourth quarter offense. The efficiency numbers are going to plummet. Or continue to drop, I should say. We've already seen it plummet if you're 30th. But as Doc said, we're cognizant. We know we're in an offensive funk, and we got to fix it. Neither Giannis or Dame terribly efficient tonight. I don't know how much faults you can throw out there when we've seen a couple of times of late now. The strategy is if we have the personnel, full court press, or at least trap, and put 2 bodies on Damian Lillard once he crosses midcourt, get the ball out of his hands, sag into the paint. And you're not going to shut down Giannis, but sag into the paint. And at least make him think twice, or just throw bodies out there and say, look, we'll live with it. If Kyle Kuzma takes threes, if Brook Lopez takes threes, whoever's on the floor, take them. Taurean Prince, it's not going to be these 2 guys. Giannis tonight had his lowest offensive efficiency in 2+ years. Got to go back to February 16th, 2023, when he was 25% from the field. The caveat there is he was 1 of 4 and only played 9 minutes. He suffered the wrist injury in that game against the Bulls. But take that out of the mix, it's still over 2 years. January 11th, that same year, 2023, when he shot 30% in the game against the Atlanta Hawks. You got to go back that far for the last time Giannis was this inefficient from the floor. We'll take a look at Thursday night's matchup with the Los Angeles Lakers, what we can expect from there, and the schedule ahead for the Pistons and the Pacers as we wrap things up after this on Bucks Talk.
This is Bucks Talk.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
For their accounts payable workflow, Junior Achievement of Wisconsin implemented a document management and workflow automation solution from James Imaging Systems. Junior Achievement Vice President of Enterprise Services, Lori Salzman, highlights the positive impact.
That impact has made it much more streamlined for us to handle the entire process from receiving an invoice to having it paid.
How has streamlining your accounts payable workflow benefited Junior Achievement's mission?
It has allowed us to be more on mission and strategically reach out and expand our impact to be able to reach more students.
If others are looking for workflow automation solutions to better serve their clients or customers, what's your suggestion?
If anybody is looking for a good partner that is there to help find solutions, call James Imaging.
Content management and workflow automation from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Buy now, save now at Menards. You need reliable and energy-efficient appliances to conquer the day. Menards is your one-stop shop with the largest in-stock appliance selection ready to take home today. Check out our top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and Criterion. Save big money on Whirlpool appliances at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome back to Bucks Talk.
All right, so that schedule, the Pistons and Pacers each have 3 games remaining against the Cavaliers and Thunder. Actually, the Pacers have 3 games remaining against the Cavs and Thunder. The Pistons have 2 remaining against them, but they do have more difficult schedules than you. So, look, you have to, as we said many times earlier this season, in the throes of it when the Bucks were 2-8, you have to be an active participant in your own rescue. So you can't just bank on, hey, they got tougher schedules, we're good here. You got to start to clean some of these things up and win some of these games. But 1-4 cannot happen on this road trip. And frankly, 2-3 should not. You need to be aiming for a winning road trip here to give you that boost and propel you going into the postseason here. Let's wrap things up with some questions here. I am assuming I know the general tone and subject of a lot of the feedback we've gotten here tonight, but what do we have?
Yeah, a lot on the offense after a disappointing loss tonight. D. Cole 123. He left a series of comments, so I'm paraphrasing here. But essentially, his point here is the Bucks watch Dame and Giannis do a lot of ISO ball on the offensive side.
Yeah.
And the accusation is there's no real play calls, which is harsh, but no cutting action, and essentially it's Giannis and Dame and the rest are sitting and waiting for the ball, or at least there's too much of that. So my question for you is, how much of the ISO ball of Giannis and Dame is an issue right now for this Bucks offense?
There was one moment in the game, I think it was the fourth quarter, where it might have been when it was a 3-point game. It was either 3 or 5. You knew it was done when was it Pods that hit 2 straight threes? When the Warriors took it from 3 to 8. That's when it was, all right, I feel like this is over. But there was that sequence where Giannis was like visibly frustrated and trying to motion to Taurean Prince to move out of the corner. I mean, we've seen a lot more of that, not like the visible frustration from Giannis, but that's, I think, the issue of why you got to get some movement going here. And it's one of the boosts that Kyle Kuzma initially brought to this team was his cuts off the ball. Doc has said, like, we got to get Kyle Kuzma to be Kyle Kuzma and be comfortable in this offense. But look, when you have 2 guys And I don't know how much of it is even ISO play, but when you have Giannis and Damian Lillard, you are going to be prone to are the other guys just going to sit there and watch and wait and say, I'm going to sit in the corner? And Taurean Prince himself on media day, I looked up where Grayson Allen's, he didn't name anybody specifically, but like Grayson Allen, Malik Beasley, those guys that had come through Milwaukee, where they would position themselves and get the ball for catch and shoot opportunities. So I think we're seeing a lot of that. And as Doc said, we're in an offensive funk. Like, part of that is maybe you have to look into lineups and rotations a little bit differently because of some of what we talked about, where teams are we're going to trap Dame, or we're going to put more bodies on him and size on him and try to double him, and we're going to sag into the paint. Easier said than done. You have to have the right personnel. Draymond Green helps with his physicality and his defensive IQ, but you go back to that Thunder game, look at some of the screenshots, rewatch that game, and look at how their defense was positioned. And granted, they have an elite defense. That makes it incredibly tough. It felt like you were wearing a straitjacket in that game. But look at some of the positioning when Giannis was on the floor, where you would just have guys start to take a step back. And maybe not necessarily dare shots. I know Doc took offense to that when he was asked about the dare shots that were given up to Kyle Kuzma. But, hey, if they take it, so be it. We're mainly focused with getting more bodies into that painted area. So whether that's we got to really revamp this offense and work on things like another suggestion of go back to those double horns that they were running quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, everything should be on the table at this point. But whether it's that, whether it's looking into maybe we can only play this guy when this guy's on the floor, everything has to be examined because 30th offensively in the fourth quarter is nowhere near good enough. 17 points in the fourth quarter, nowhere near good enough either. If those trends continue, it's going to be challenging to get out of the first round. And if that's the case, and we're talking about 3 straight first-round exits, there's a lot of soul-searching. And I think a lot of change that comes to this franchise in the offseason, if that is, in fact, the case. Hopefully we're talking about better things Thursday night, or Friday morning for that matter, because it's a 9:30 tip. Even later on Thursday, Bucks head to Los Angeles to take on the Lakers. Keep an eye on the injury report tomorrow. LeBron James, almost a certainty he is not going to play in that game, but we'll see if the Lakers play Luka Doncic tomorrow against the Denver Nuggets. Who knows? It may mean he's out because he has not typically been playing back-to-backs. Last time these two teams played, it was the Bucks on night 1, the Nuggets on night 2. They played Luka on night 1 against the Bucks and sat him against the Denver Nuggets. So we'll see. You may catch the Lakers without both those teams, but regardless of who it is on the floor when you play the Lakers, your offense has to be better than what we saw tonight. 9:30 tip on Thursday. 9 o'clock is when our pregame coverage gets started. And as always, be sure to stick around after the game for Bucks Talk. We will talk with you then.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our